Hey there, I'm Daryl, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome. Hopefully you'll be a repeater. But anyway, we're going to tie up a last cicada fly. They're starting to get pretty active, and on there. And a buddy of mine, he's been using some stealth bombers. They're around Alabama and having pretty good luck with them. But the one I'm going to tie is called the Cicada Bomber, and it's very similar to a stealth bomber, except it's a little bit wider, it's a little bit bigger, a little bit different. And we're going to go ahead and show you what it looks like, and we'll explain the materials as we tie along. This here is the Cicada Bomber, and as you can see, it's pretty similar to a stealth bomber. But we'll go ahead and I'll explain the materials and we're gonna use here. I'm gonna use a Ryzen Streamer 200. It's 2x heavy with a down eye and 4x long. So it's a pretty big fly, you know, it's a size 4. Let me debarb my hook. Thread I'm going to use is 6/0 in fluorescent orange. We'll start that right back behind the eye of the hook, and we'll take it back to just above the barb. Just over the barb, right there. Next, I'll put the measurements for this piece of foam on how it's cut, but it's what we're going to use on here. This will end up being the over wing here, but what we want to do is roughly 1/4 of an inch. We're going to want to fold it right there, and then just place this over where the down eye is, and that gives us that measurement to tie it in right here. And we'll just give it a couple loose wraps. Don't want to tie it too tight. And then we're gonna lift this up and kind of lock it in place a little bit here. And we'll lift this up and we'll advance our thread a little bit. And I'm going to use some FM jelly, an orange sunburst. You could use cactus chenille, but I have some of this. I got cactus chenille as well, but I just thought I would go with this material. You could probably use regular chenille as well. And we'll take this up to where the eye of the hook is on there. And I'm going to use my bobbin holder. Let me get that out of the way a little bit. Lock that in place. And we'll use the rotary function to twist it a little bit. And we'll take it right up to the eye of the hook. Couple locking wraps on top, and then that's our underbody. And next we're going to do is we're just going to wiggle our way back to about the midway point on there. And trying to make sure we don't go too tight. And I'm going to put a little zap-a-gap on top of those threads, because I'm going to turn create a little bubble or a bump right there. And that'll give some, when it goes into the water and maybe under the surface, it'll create an air bubble trail, like the Stealth Bomber does. Next material we're going to do is we're going to put a wing in, and I'm going to use this holographic orange Flashabou for the wing. You could use white or whatever. White would probably look better, but I'm going to use orange. I'm going to get it wet so it holds together, and then I'm going to bend it and cut it in half. Wet it again, and I'm going to fold it in half one last time, but I'm not going to cut it yet. And I'm going to try to trim these so they're somewhat even. And we're going to lock those in right on top, right here, for that wing. Couple loose wraps. Kind of spread it out a little bit. And I'll use my Zap-A-Gap right in there so that maybe the fish won't pull that wing out, and give it a couple more. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim this so that it's about a ½ inch past that tail. Alright, next we're going to do is we're going to use some of that orange black barred, and this piece here is 5 inches long, and I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to put the loop towards the back end for now, and try to, and then give it a couple loose wraps. And you're going to want 4 legs on each side. And position that back to the side again. And then we're going to fold this stuff back, and we're going to advance our thread towards the eye of the hook. And you might have to weave it in. There. Next, I've got a piece of 2mm foam, I don't know, a little over 1 inch long, maybe 3 millimeters wide, and it's going to be the eyes. And that's just going to be right over, right there, and we're going to fold that over. And then we're going to loose wraps over. That, not to pull it too tight. As you can see. I'm going to put a little Zap-A-Gap there, or you can use super glue if you want. We're going to try to build up a little bit of a orange stripe right in there. Next, I'm going to create an orange carapace or whatever it's called. And we'll round off the corners. Now you'll notice that my orange foam, I've got some sparkles on there, and what I did was I used some Soft-Tex. It's an adhesive that's fast drying and penetrates, and it's a flexible glue, so I'm not losing the flexibility. And then I put some whatever it's called, glitter on there, just to give it a little thing. It was just something fun to do. Was it necessary? Oh, maybe not. But just something fun to do on there. And then I created, I guess, this little thing. It's kind of long on the back and short on the front. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on top of those threads. And I'm going to put the long part facing towards the tail. I guess you could say it's maybe a good sight indicator. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a whip finish. And trim off my thread. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off these eyes a little bit. I'm going to cut them at an angle away from the head. Maybe at roughly 45 degrees. Almost cut off my leg there. So I got those there. And I'm going to trim off these folded areas. And the reason I put the folded areas in the back, when I was doing them in the front, when I was whip finishing, my whip finish tool kind of got stuck in would get stuck in that loop, so I kind of moved it to the back, and then we'll trim off these to the shortest one. And then I'm going to put a little this Zap-A-Gap or super glue on top of that on those threads, just to lock it in a little bit. And then I'm going to lock in the threads down here. just to protect that. And there you have it, the Cicada Bomber. Well, there you have it. I've showed you 4 different versions of cicada. This is our last one, the Cicada Bomber. And got a trip up in a couple weeks up around Greenville, and hopefully they'll be really active up there, the cicadas. They've been the reports have been kind of spotty, I guess. But hopefully when we're up there, it'll be a good time. And the cicadas will be out there making a lot of noise, and this one or one of the other 3 might be the secret for doing that. I don't know how many different cicada flies you really need. Probably only need the one. But anyway, tie up a few of these or some kind of cicada pattern, and make sure you hit up that cicada hash that's going to be happening or is happening right now in your area. It's you know, who knows when the next time you'll be able to do one. All right, I'm Daryl. We'll see you on the water.